set the camera up and let it record.
If I was that fly on the wall, I would have been looking for my own fly swatter to get me out of there.
I feel like there's so many little things. I mean, I guess we're just gonna like let them hear all our real numbers, right? Like we're starting out, that's ridiculous, that's why we're getting out of this house. Okay.
Wouldn't you just like deduct everything, get your total, and then add that to the next payment?
And now that's where there's not even a mortgage payment, and usually there would have needed to be a $3,400 mortgage payment taken out of there. So this is the hard part for me, is going like, okay, this is the amount. I feel like the grocery budget this particular month is gonna be a lot bigger than it was previously.
Yeah, we have to play catch up. Let's just do what we know, and like,
Okay.
it's just getting overwhelming. I feel like we're doing what you call spitballing.
I'll send you
can just give me your
I'll
love.
blow you a kiss and send you a text.
Oh, I didn't know where that was going.
Blow you a kiss and send you a text. Oh my gosh, my brain. What, so what are we doing?
What did we just do?
I don't even know. I feel like the first time, the first month doing this is a little bit overwhelming, and like this, like it's how Cullen feels. He's not gonna be present for this video. I feel like it's overwhelming, and it's also, it's gonna take a minute to get into a set routine. Oh, hey, welcome to the video. Hold on. Welcome to the video. Hey, y'all.
Hey guys, what's up?
I'm Katie.
I'm Cullen, and my wife's a freaking nerd. Like a legit nerd. Like the biggest nerd in the world.
I have so much fun looking at all the numbers.
I feel like I just had 10 therapy sessions.
Therapy or calculus classes?
Both.
Okay, all of it. It's kind, well, it was really, okay, so.
we did this video.
Hang on, wait, welcome to the video. we did this, we're doing this all out of order. Okay, let's introduce real quick. I just feel like I have fresh emotions on how it felt to do it, and I want to share them right now. Maybe we can just do it in reverse order, but let's just say I'm Katie and this is Cullen, and if you're new to our channel, hey, thanks for joining us.
Well, I'll say we filmed this video in out of order. Y'all are seeing it in the right order. This is
Yeah,
the
you're
beginning.
seeing it right.
You're about to see what
You're gonna see it,
did
yeah.
a minute ago. Oh, Lord.
We tend to kind of not know what we're talking about sometimes and start saying different things, and y'all are probably totally lost right now. We are in the middle of paying off a bunch of debt and getting ourselves back on track. We were hardcore Dave Ramsey folks in the beginning of our marriage 12 years ago.
I don't remember it being this bad.
Well, it wasn't, because we didn't have 2 kids and we didn't have so many things, and I was about to say why it was so bad. But we used envelopes, we spent cash, everything was together, and then life went to crap, we got off track, we're in a bunch of debt, we're paying it off. I'm not gonna give the whole recap, go watch our previous videos.
There's a playlist.
There's a playlist you can go check out if you wanna hear the whole story. Here's the deal, is we just had our first budget committee meeting, and we actually, well, we've had other ones, but actually like figuring out what envelopes are gonna be what. Our previous budget committee meetings were regarding like just catching up, like where even are we? What do we owe on this? What do we owe on that? It was more getting the debt together. This is going forward, getting that together. We did film some of it, so we're gonna replay for you how that went. Several of y'all were like, I'd like to just be a fly on the wall. So we kind of just set the camera up and let it record.
If I was that fly on the wall, I would have been looking for my own fly swatter to get me out of there. There ain't no reason anybody wants to be on a wall in this house right now.
No, it's, well, okay, but here's why I think it's so overwhelming. First of all, because we have had absolutely no clue, awareness, or eyeballs on what we're spending in the past 2 or 3 years. We've just been spending money like we have it when we don't, which is why we have a $39,000 credit card bill and a $5,000 credit card bill and $39,000 we owe on a $70,000 vehicle. I mean,
I can budget in $1 fly swatter out of there somewhere.
like, you should get a fly swatter, because it feels like when we're just looking at making a list of just the things that come out, when we were doing this, when we first started the Dave Ramsey program back when we were first married, we didn't have any kids. So we didn't have extra like kid expenses. We didn't have all the little things that have added up over the time, like with, you know, subscriptions to like Netflix and all the little stuff here and there. We weren't running our own business, so we just had to have 2 budget committee meetings. We had one for our business, and then we shut that one down and started the one for our personal. That's another thing we've done wrong in the past, is kind of like merging the 2 together. We've always had a separate business account from our personal account, but we just kind of talked about all our money like everything was related, even though it wasn't, which gets us in trouble. We didn't have as many little things.
And I will say, coming up when y'all see this budget committee meeting fly on the wall scenario in a minute, probably that was only probably 10% of the meeting.
Yeah, I was like, they don't even want to watch this anymore.
Yeah, we did another like 30 minutes off camera too.
Well, and we were also like caught up when we started the budget meetings previously, you know?
Yeah, this was like literally just...
It was just, I feel like there's so many little things. Like we were going through and we were like, okay, so the expense for this, for school, the events for school extras, like field trips, the expense for haircuts, the expense for, you know.
And then like, I got kind of frustrated or like overwhelmed with all the papers on the table. And I was like, okay, let's do this in the app. But then like the app, the one we're using only does it monthly, but we're trying to like, cause we are catching up, do bi-monthly.
Because we pay ourselves every
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
And so then we had to like cut the stuff in half.
And you might say, well, couldn't you just change it so that right now you pay yourself per like monthly, but like technically right now, as far as our business goes, because we haven't been managing things well, we don't have the money in our account to pay ourselves an entire month at one time. We're still gonna stick with the bi-weekly until we kind of get our feet back under us. Playing catch up is kind of hard too, because there's a lot of envelopes when you're doing the cash system that we had previously. Like we had a Christmas one, we had a birthdays one, and it was great to be able to put money in those as you go along. But right now we're trying to put all our extra money towards the snowball. I know it is important to save for those things, but this first month of catching up from like, we haven't paid ourselves in like 2 months. So we've been kind of like super duper tight on everything. Yeah, like we don't have, like we're out of a lot of stuff. Over budgeting. We're over budgeting
right now
because I don't
just to get caught up, and then anything we don't spend, we kind of talk about this, and then you'll see. I don't know how I'm gonna edit yet, like I said, but over budgeting, but still trying to spend as less as possible, like as little as possible.
Say for example, we've got like for the grocery budget, say it's $400. Our goal is to maybe only spend $300, but because of the past months, where like mentally I kind of like halfway budgeted, oh, we're gonna spend this and that, and then we use more, and then we run out of expenses for another category. I just don't want that to happen. Like I'm a little PTSD from like, oh shoot, we spent $100 too much and now we don't have money for gas or something. I feel like the first month is gonna be a huge learning experience, because we're gonna see areas where we definitely did over budget or under budget or whatever. I know, I feel like I'm like saying that I'm gonna do something wrong, but I feel like it's probably a wrong thing to like leave an extra $200 in the checking account. We just can't let it overdraft, which has happened a few times because of like, oh shoot, I totally forgot that was going through. Until we just make sure we're actually aware of everything that's happening, I'm leaving a little bit extra in there that we're not supposed to touch. We're just not even looking at it or calculating it into anything. So I guess you would call that oh snap.
Oh snap.
So I guess we'll show y'all the budget meeting.
Yeah.
And then we will come back after that's over and tell you what we ended up with.
To start off with the budget meeting, we kind of already had done the business portion.
Yeah, we didn't leave the
meeting.
business portion in there.
So this is just personal, getting our paycheck for the first of the month. It's like I said,
you may even cut the whole budget.
I might just cut it, and it might just be like us talking with music. I don't know. But y'all enjoy, and we will see y'all after this vomit brain. Woo! All right, so you're just gonna get all this done, and I'll be right back. I got a game on PlayStation.
Joe! All right, so as the good nerd I am, I've already gone ahead and written out a bunch of stuff. This looks like a really overwhelming for your non-nerd self. Okay, well we're gonna put it in there, but I gotta have it written out first. So this month is gonna be a little bit different as far as starting out, because like when we put in our first amount that we're actually getting paid, I'm not calculating out a mortgage amount right now, because all the get current money that we're building up is going towards that. So like this is just bills and stuff. Like next month will be totally different until we get a system down, and then we'll have more of a consistent month. Like we're kind of playing catch up still, you know? Okay, so if we look at the amount we're supposed to actually get. All right, so we're starting out, I mean, I guess we're just gonna like let them hear all our real numbers, right? Like we're starting out, we're paying the amount that we are being paid So the way we have it set up right now is you get paid on the 1st and I get paid on the 15th. With some late brand payments coming in, we were supposed to have been paid on the 1st, but we're now being paid on the 5th. So this money they're about to get on the 5th is $4,106.46. I think the way this is supposed to work is I'm probably supposed to like calculate in what's already in the checking account. Right now I'm just gonna kind of ignore that and act like we're starting just with this.
Okay.
Because it's only like $200 or something. I don't even know what it is. It's not a lot.
Okay. And yeah, just act like that's not even there.
The thing is though too, that's why we're acting like it's not there, because I actually had to transfer some from savings to cover the fact that like these first 3 or 4 bills have already gone through, because they go through on the 1st, the 2nd, and the 3rd, and today's the 3rd. So like we've already had the power bill, the gymnastics bill, and then the water bill, like all that's already gone through. Okay, so I'm just gonna pretend like we're doing this budget 3 days ago and these things haven't gone through yet, okay? So on the 1st, we have our dental insurance. Has that gone through? Dental insurance is $42. Gymnastics for the month is $91. Our water bill, I'd be interested to hear what other people's water bills are, because this seems excessive to me. But our city has an issue with water. So anyway, it's overrated. It's over whatever. It's $105.07 this month. And then our power bill is $240.38, which is like the lowest it ever is because we're not running our air in the middle of January. That's ridiculous. That's why we're getting out of this house.
I'm like the dad that just walks around and turns off lights, I feel like.
As we have lights on here. We're getting better about that. We're getting better about that. Okay, but so the first thing that you're actually supposed to take out, I put this in here because we weren't gonna get paid, is the tithe, which is like important to the whole process. When we first started this a month or so ago, I was like, is that something we do when we're like in catch-up mode? But then even after hearing several different podcasts and everything else, it's like, that's what you do. Like, this money is the money that God has given you, so you give a portion of that money back and it will be provided for you the way that you need. And I can say that we actually got in our statement, we didn't tithe anything because I just wasn't keeping up with it. We didn't have money, I wasn't keeping up with it. Life was crazy until June, and then I started doing just a little bit here and there. And as I started doing a little bit, although we were broke and didn't have any money, that's when the time started happening, when I was like, oh my gosh, how did that work out? Like, where did that payment come from? Where did this come from? And it was just like seeing things be provided that we needed. I was somewhat inconsistent with that through the end of the month, the end of the year, but that's a goal of mine, to be completely consistent with the 10% of that every month. Okay. So that would mean $411 goes to giving. Our kids' school tuition, which is kindergarten, and Brooks's preschool, is $886. That includes some like aftercare. So I think we had talked about this before, like, did we want to cut out any of that and how would that change? Okay, and then on the 8th, we have $155 for car insurance. On the 10th, we have our $10 like Apple iCloud storage, which I guess that's something we need to continue. That's where, like, so that we have our stuff stored in the cloud. Like, isn't that kind of a thing that people, it's not, it's not
I think it runs out. I'm sure there's a way to do it. I don't know.
Especially with what we do, I just feel like it's a pretty big necessity. The 12th is Audible, $17, and I just really feel like that's necessary right now. We're not doing therapy and paying the $100 a week for each of us to go to therapy, but we do Audible. I just feel like that's important.
I'm listening to the Rachel Cruze right now.
It's important to us. Then we get paid, or we pay ourselves. We get paid. We're not the business anymore, right? We gotta separate these two things. This is where we got ourselves in trouble for. So my company is gonna pay me on the 15th. I get my paycheck on the 15th. So up until here, previously what I would do is I would take this $4,000 that we were getting paid, and I would make sure that everything, I wasn't making sure anything, but my mindset would be to make sure this all got paid. Wouldn't even be thinking about what comes next, and that's where we still have part of our minimum payments for our bigger debt snowball things have to be paid. And we both have like our doctor's appointments, the MasterCard has to get paid. So I'm trying to think of it at this point kind of in a whole month thing of like it being $8,000 for the whole month and making sure everything adds up. But then I also do have to make sure that up until the 15th that this is gonna cover what we get to. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
Wouldn't you just like deduct everything, get your total, and then add that to the next payment?
No, you would.
And then just roll that over?
But we haven't even gotten to adding in like groceries, Valentine's Day's in here. At this point, when we take out all this stuff, 42 minus 91 minus 105 0.07 minus 240, 38, minus 886, 50, minus 411, minus 155, minus 10, minus 17, okay? So that leaves $2,148 left here. And now that's where there's not even a mortgage payment, and usually there would have needed to be a $3,400 mortgage payment taken out of there. That's not gonna work. So what we're gonna have to do in the future is try to calculate out, we're gonna have to use this month and plan out for like $2,000 of this, or $1,000 of this, or whatever, to be carried over to the next month, like to still be in the account to pay the mortgage from this, so that we're only taking out, and like this doesn't include groceries, it doesn't include pet food, or you know, whatever, like Valentine's, well, and even like the monthly stuff is like vitamins or our prescriptions or all these other things. When my car tag is due this month, we got to figure out how we're going to make this work. As far as with the amount we're paying ourselves now, we have decreased that since we first bought this house. I think we were previously doing like, I don't remember, I want to say it was 10,000 each. So it was like 20,000 a month. That can't be right. I don't know how much we're paying each other. I think we were paying ourselves 8,000 each, maybe, or 7,000 each, something like that. Right. It ended up being like 14,000 for the month.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Still, even looking at that, I'm like, dang, that. What did we do with the rest of that money? Clearly, I know now what we did with it. It all went to crap. At this point, we're kind of not even hardly making enough to pay the $3,400 mortgage payment based on what we're paying ourselves, which is why we got ourselves in trouble that we are. I'm a little bit, it's kind of like, if we can make it through this month and see what happens with the house, then we'll reassess before the business pays us on the 1st of March, whether we need to up that a little bit based on the fact that we're going to have a little bit coming in, so that we don't get ourselves in a mortgage situation again. You know, this is how much we have left. And this also doesn't count gas with the cars. I don't know who's going to need to fill up when, and groceries and all that. So technically what we would do, we would take this amount, because this gets us on my sheet that I think I've put everything in there that usually comes out. We would do like non-recurring expenses from that. So we would take this and say, okay, how much are we going to budget? We would basically start like here. This was our extra stuff. Right. We would say, how much do we need to budget out of this for groceries, for these things, for our pets, if you need stuff for the fish tank, for our doctor's appointments, which those don't even happen until the 15th, so we probably wouldn't put those in there. In the future, we would probably be taking out like $20 or $40 per month. But for right now, we gotta play catch up, so we're going to have to pay the full amount. Haircuts, so we could go ahead and say, like, let's just start putting $10 each paycheck in there. And then once we get enough, we can get our haircut. So this is the amount technically right now, I think, that we need to work from to calculate in Valentine's Day, my car tag, your daddy-daughter date, and also paying down the debt as much as we can, getting our snowball going. So this is where it gets like a little bit somewhat unpredictable. I mean, all these are obviously predictable, but I always feel like there's something we forget about, that we're like, dang it, I forgot this so-and-so is going through. So if you think of anything, or like have something come up along the way, add it to that so that we can make sure we cover it. Okay. Like if there's something that comes up.
Could we like do 25 this paycheck, 25 next paycheck, or?
Yeah, totally. We could, and that's
instead of just taking all 55 out now.
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. That's kind of why I wanted to all talk about it together, but then I kind of wanted to add up just the whole month all together with 8,000 and take it out, and then determine what we needed to do instead of doing it by the 2 weeks at a time. But that 2 weeks at a time may be better for us right now.
Yeah, I would do it.
So that we don't say, oh, $500 for groceries for the month, and then we go through all 500 the first couple weeks, which is what we usually do. We're like, oh shoot, we're out of everything. I think while we're getting caught up, we're gonna need to just do smaller grocery trips, as much as I hate that. Yeah, totally. You know?
We've been getting used to that, I guess.
Well, we have, but it's also like, I really prefer having 5 things of cream cheese in there, so that anytime I need to make a recipe, I don't have to go to the store. Like, I'm not saying buy all the stuff that's excessive that we don't need, but all the stuff I bought in December when I did that big grocery trip, the $500 grocery trip in December, we're still eating on like the noodles from that, the whatever, so that we're not having to go to the store, and should we get in a pinch, we have basics, you know. We just have to go for like the produce and the lettuce, or, you know, whatever. As much as this is supposed to be a zero-based budget, I'm kind of like afraid that I'm gonna under budget. So I guess what I'm saying is, like, I want to a little bit over budget. So even saying like $400 for groceries, because that includes the fact that we need laundry detergent, literally have like 3 more dishwashing pods or whatever, kind of over budget for that, but still be on the track that we've been on where we get the cheapest thing we can. We go to Aldi and buy produce instead of just getting it more expensive just because we have $400 budgeted. The goal would be like, maybe if we could set a goal of say $200, but we know that we've budgeted $400 so that the account doesn't get overdrawn or we don't run out of cash.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, seeing how we've lived the past 2 weeks, I think we spent $50 on groceries. So, I mean, we can make it work, but I also just want to be able to, like, we hadn't had ground beef in a minute, you know? So this is the hard part for me, is going like, okay, this is the amount, you know, we have $2,148 left. What do we put towards what?
And that's through here, right? Like,
right. I mean, it seems like, oh my gosh, we have plenty of money, like this is going to be fine. But I feel like that's what we do. And then come this month, I mean, this second half, let's pretend like there's 0 left. Like we have 0 base balance this. We've accounted for all this. So now we're moving on to the 15th. I just want to see what happens with this amount to see how much we'll have left. So when we get paid $4,000, I don't remember exactly what it is. Subtract out this 500, and then we subtract out, I'm gonna have to pay for that doctor's appointment, then pay the MasterCard minimum payment because we're not there yet. Pay Netflix because we don't have other cable. Pay your doctor's appointment. Pay Lightroom, because that should actually go in the business. And then I estimated our gas bill based on what it was this time last year. So we'll just say it's gonna be $200. So even in this amount, we haven't calculated Valentine's, the car tag, or any of that. I'm just looking at basic, straightforward expenses that go through. That would leave us from the 15th to the 30th or the 29th. We should have $2,941 to be flexible with throughout. And that just seems like a lot. It seems like, how have we been having this much and not had enough money to do everything we need to do? I think there's more little stuff that we are not thinking about. I feel like the grocery budget this particular month is gonna be a lot bigger than it was previously because we have not bought a lot of stuff.
We have to play catch up.
We actually did run out of ketchup. But I mean, like, you know, we've let ourselves run out of so many things and done without them that obviously aren't necessities, but it's like, you know, you can go without mayonnaise for a couple weeks. That's your kid's favorite thing to have on their sandwich, so we're gonna buy more mayonnaise. Like, I'm not saying let's go below $500 on groceries that we don't need. I'm saying like,
no, it's gonna be like,
with kids,
it's like a game now. It's like, see how much you can get for as little cost.
We've made it work for the past couple weeks just to only have the Cheez-Its. But then you get tired of those. And I mean, I wouldn't want to have to eat the same thing all the time when my parents can afford to buy me Goldfish instead of Cheez-Its or whatever, you know? So I want to have them a couple different options. I want to be able to make sure we have enough fruit, make sure that we budget in not just one grocery shopping trip, but like the milk goes bad, or runs out quicker than the other stuff does. So I want to be able to restock those things. Restock, like I've just been eating eggs for breakfast. I prefer to make my smoothies. So if I can buy more almond milk and have that stocked up, you know, just like all that stuff that technically, I don't know, is this the point at which you go like, well, we can live without that, so I need to just keep eating eggs and not, I don't know, I just feel like for me personally, that's something that I'm doing for my health, and I'm not doing it because like, I'm being selfish.
I think as long as it's in the budget, then it's guilt-free. Like,
we're trying to cut so many costs that it's like, all right, you're gonna have to just not drink almond milk smoothies. I feel like that is an important thing to me as far as my health goes.
To where you can sit down and focus and do that.
Right, well, and you gotta like nourish yourself and take care of yourself. And I mean, I don't think Dave Ramsey would say nobody get a haircut for, which we haven't, but I don't think he'd say like, you're not allowed to get a haircut for a year because you're on a budget. Take care of yourself if you can.
I mean, I had that internal struggle earlier today, like, and just in general, like eating all this ramen. I'm like letting my health go to the wayside in lure of getting out of debt. I want to be able to make sure that we provide for ourselves in a health conscious way on a budget. Let's just do what we know, and like, this is just getting overwhelming. I feel like, like, let's start doing what we know.
Okay, so what are we gonna do?
I don't know, like this, I feel like I need the app or something. Like this.
Well, no, okay, let's use the app then, because that's gonna help.
Or something.
So if we're looking at the budget, they they start with what you had in for January. So they're doing it for the whole month, not 2 weeks at a time. So we're gonna have to budget for the groceries for the whole month, basically. That's why I kind of wanted to write it out myself and then put it in, but we don't have to do that.
I'm just trying to figure out, like,
so they have giving. So I've got in there our giving for church. The electricity already went through for the month. The cable is paid by the business because it's internet. What about gas for the car? If you do it, say $50, say it's $50 when you fill up. You think we'll fill up twice during the month? Okay, and we'll obviously try to keep that low if we can. Obviously we don't just drive around. Car maintenance, I'm actually due for a service too.
But I mean,
but let's just put in a little bit over time. So let's say $50 because we need to save it up quicker. Typically I'd put in like 10 or 20, but we'll put in 50 for that. Do the dogs need dog food soon?
No, right now.
But like in the future, we would have a set amount that every paycheck we're gonna put 20. So this is not gonna take this long every month.
No.
This is like initial playing catch up, and then in the future we will put 20 each time. There's always gonna be money in pet care. We can always get that, use that, right? Groceries, restaurants, phone, clothing, fun money, hair and cosmetics. Is it $20 or is that like an overestimate, something like that?
I don't include.
Let's just make it 25. And then anything extra will roll over so that the next time you need a haircut, it'll be there. Entertainment, I don't plan to do anything entertaining this month other than stuff at home. I mean, we've got the fun category technically that would cover. So this is where we have, I just put snowball. And once I got to the bottom and it told me how much I had left to budget for the month, that's what told me how much I could put towards our snowball. Then we would look at our snowball. Instead of putting in here like, this is how much we pay on our car payment, yada yada, I'm putting in, this is how much we're gonna pay towards the whole snowball. If we don't end up needing to use it towards the get current, this will go towards March 1st mortgage payment. So that we're not scrambling for the money then. Okay.
Oh my gosh, this is crazy.
I feel like there's so many small expenses that make it.
I feel like we'll be a lot better off after we get this first month under our belts.
Yes.
Okay.
So here we are.
I think we got kind of like tired of even recording at the end of that.
I don't even know where we ended it.
And then we're like, okay, y'all don't need to see any more of this. This is kind of dumb. Like, we're just gonna turn it off. So, any tips and tricks on how y'all do your budget committee meeting? I guess it's hard to even compare right now because we were so in the, like, this was like a deep clean of our closets.
Yeah. Well, and when we originally started Dave Ramsey back in the day, we had 2 debts that we were paying off. So it was like we attacked one and then we attacked the next one, and it didn't take that long. And at this point we got like a list of 1 million. So I'm like, let me make sure I get minimum payments on everybody that needs a minimum payment, and then we get this people paid off. And I hope I haven't left anything out. That's my fear right now.
We didn't record this. This is where we
this is what I was going to tell them. Okay, so what we came up with is after taking out, or like calculating the bills, scheduling what our budget's going to be for the entire month for each category, we figured out what we're going to take out to put in our envelopes for the next 2 weeks until the next pay period or whatever.
Ultimately, we want it to be monthly, right?
We want to
get caught up to where we can just take it out one time.
So people have talked about like living on last month's income so that you can, at the beginning of the month, not have to wait for the paycheck to come in and then rush to get all your cash out or whatever. Get caught up enough that you're living on last month's income. That's our goal. We're not there. We will be getting our envelopes set up in 2 days when we get paid.
Should we go ahead and color them like in the next, for tomorrow?
Yeah, that'd be fun.
We'll show y'all our envelopes tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll show you our envelopes. If we don't do it tomorrow, then it'll be Wednesday, just to make sure we have the cash to put them in them and whatever else. Okay, so as of right now, we're taking out $660 in cash. I think we explained this in the budget meeting, but just if we didn't, our grocery budget is gonna definitely be higher this month because we are so out of everything. I think we explained that. Didn't we talk about that already? Okay, so this is not gonna be typical. I hope nobody's gonna like just, y'all don't judge us if we made some bad decisions on this. Feel free to like leave a nice, respectful comment. We don't have room for negative people, and if you're gonna be rude about something, then I'm just gonna have to block you because I'm serious. Like we get to choose if we have rude people commenting things, and you are more than welcome to have your opinion, but if everybody could just try to be a little bit nice and respectful. We're learning at this.
It's trial and error.
We're like new at doing this with a family with 2 kids and with a whole whole bunch of crap we're dealing with.
And a business.
We had like nothing that we were budgeting, like having to pay off and pay towards and whatever in the past. And I have no clue how much we've spent on stuff in the past year. So our envelopes that we're taking money out for, our biggest one is grocery, because we need to catch up on so many things. We're counting in that laundry detergent, dishwashing detergent, cat litter, things like that are like around the house stuff.
Grocery store.
We get at the grocery store. I don't know if that's how most people do it. If y'all have other suggestions, let us know.
And again, we're gonna tweak it probably as we see fit.
So we have $400 that we're taking out for that. And my goal for that is to kind of even break it down a little bit further, not just for the 2 weeks, because I don't want to go to the grocery store and spend all $400 and then, like, you know, fruit or lettuce only lasts for, you know,
we run out of milk or something.
Or we run out of milk. So I want to try to spend as little as I can of that. Did put $25 for restaurants, which our goal is to not go to any restaurants and not eat out. But there are some things that come up if somebody's having an event or a dinner or a lunch or whatever.
Or like you had to go to lunch on a field trip one day because you were driving with another friend and they didn't bring a lunch.
If we don't spend that money, then it'll just carry over into the next. $40 for fun, for haircuts. May or may not need it in the next 2 weeks. $25 aside for that. For school extras and field trips, because I'm pretty sure Gaines has a field trip like every other day. I put $20 for that. Entertainment, $20. I don't know if we'll need that. We're just kind of like over budgeting.
We're doing what you call spitballing. Oh my gosh.
Pets, we put $15 because the cats need food, the dogs need treats. Miscellaneous, that's if somebody needs deodorant, somebody runs out of toothpaste. Like, I don't know. I think we're okay on those things, but then something happens. Medicine, because we have mentioned that we both do take some ADHD medications, life has maintenance medications, vitamins, all that stuff. We have set aside $50 for that. Gas, we didn't talk about like gas for our cars. What we decided to do for that, because when you have kids, you don't want to have to like go in and pay with cash or whatever and leave the kids in the car. Obviously, don't do that. So we're gonna get gas card, like a reloadable gas cards.
In a comment maybe. Or
getting
gift cards.
Yeah, getting gift cards.
To like some grocery stores.
I think Publix like runs a thing maybe once a month where if you spend, I don't know, you spend a certain amount and you get a coupon and you can get like a $20 gas card or something. I don't know, but at this point we're gonna go to the gas station. I've been using the, we have a Shell station that is close to us and you can have a rewards account. They don't charge you anything for it and you get 5 cents off your gas. I've been using that. That's something that every time I filled up at that gas station previously, it was asking me like, do you want to join our rewards account? And I was like, whatever, no. But then I was like, oh shoot, yeah, why not?
So this wouldn't be a gas credit card.
No, it's like a gift card.
Do they have, I mean, I need to look into it.
Yeah, like look, a Shell gift card, $50. So it's basically like a gift card, but it's usually reloadable.
That's what we need to make sure.
It's like a prepaid card, prepaid is kind of what it's like. We're not getting cash out for that because we're gonna leave that money in the bank account and then you use your bank account to go into the gas station and say, hey, I need 2 $100 gas cards. I also think that that is over budgeting for gas for the month. I just didn't want to not have enough, and so we made that work in the budget. We've also been driving around more than we usually do because of the showings on our house, because if there's like a showing that's 30 minutes, we'll take the kids and like drive if it's too cold or rainy or whatever to go play at the park. We'll go drive and sit somewhere and leave the car running.
And then that'll just roll over. We'll
yeah, it'll roll over. We'll still have it.
And then we'll know, oh, we don't need to put any more for next month.
Because at first I was like, well, with the kids, I don't want to like have to run and spend cash, but then I also don't want to leave it in our debit card and then it accidentally gets used for something else, like an envelope, but it's a card. And I think it could work for groceries too if you wanted to do it like that, but I think having the cash in your hand in general is good. I do want to get to a point though where like the more we're aware of this stuff, the more we'll know exactly how much it costs to fill up. I just don't really know at this point because we've been doing so many like small fill ups. I just want to know how much it is to fill up.
$68.72 on the Suburban and $43.58 on the gray car, the Mercedes.
We don't ever like to call it a Mercedes because we always have just felt like it's too flashy to say.
Like, yeah, and anytime we meet up with somebody.
Even to each other, I'm like, it's a gray SUV.
We're in the gray SUV, the silver SUV.
Like, it's just like, I don't like people to think I'm snobby.
You automatically place something on somebody when you say that based on what you're, I don't know, like you automatically have this
everybody's gonna judge
first
you for
impression.
whatever else reasons.
Yeah.
And I don't even care if people judge because of like, oh my gosh, you shouldn't drive a car that's that expensive, which we've talked about this. That's cars paid for. The Suburban is not. But like,
just the persona.
The Suburban's worth more than it, but I'm less embarrassed. Not embarrassed. I just don't want people to think that I'm like snooty and a
The other day when I went out and met before Christmas, met the guy up at the Summit, the mall for an exchange. He's like, I'm in a white Cherokee Jeep. I said, I'm in a red Suburban. Then the other day, just recently, when I was going to meet this girl for the PlayStation, I was in your car and I was like, I'm in the gray SUV. Like, I just don't want her to be like, you just don't want that weird, I don't know.
You don't want, I don't know. That's a whole different topic. A whole different topic that goes with like how it's just not us to be like, oh, look at my fancy. Okay, so that's what that is. I think, oh no. We forgot about Valentine's Day. That's what we had.
Bye.
Well, okay.
I'll see y'all tomorrow.
Listen,
I've already filmed a podcast this morning. I'm done. My brain is shot.
We're gonna make this quick. When we got to the bottom of the Every Dollar app, we still had $272 left to budget. And that's where we totally forgot that we were gonna put that between Valentine's Day and then the daddy-daughter dance and then an extra cushion in there.
What's the daddy-daughter dance? $10?
It's like $10.
Take it out. That's easy.
Okay, $10. For Valentine's Day, I know this is up in the air too, because it's like, well, you don't need to spend money on that, but this is important to our kids, and whether it's like $5 of stuff from the Dollar Tree or something, just a little something, a card, some candy, a little whatever. Gaines already has made everybody in our family a Valentine, and it's very important to her. Even the dogs and cats. So I do want to make sure that we have a little something for them. I'm gonna say,
she's even come home and said, but if y'all don't have anything for me, that's okay. You can just give me your love.
Oh, did she really? That's so sweet.
She's expecting heart-shaped pancakes, by the way.
Oh, really? You did that last year. Oh, I was sick and I had the flu and everything else. Oh man. Maybe we'll make some heart-shaped pancakes. We gotta make sure we have the groceries for that.
Yeah.
But as far as for them, like, I don't know. I also don't want anybody to judge how much we would possibly spend on that, but I do know that she keeps telling me she wants me to find her a ring, which it can be like a cheap dollar ring or something. But I want to say, just to over budget a little bit, $50 total. So that'd be like,
well, that includes getting their classmates stuff too, right?
Shoot, yeah. See, this is the stuff where I'm like, I feel like we're gonna forget something. I'm gonna go ahead and assume that those are each, if I count in the candy for them and the little cards and like a little something for the teacher. We got some downstairs
from last year, the little hearts already there.
We sure do. Okay, so if we end up being under budget, then that's good. That'll be money we can move towards something else. I'll say $75 then. Is that too much? And then maybe I can get you a card. I don't even need to get you a card.
We don't need anything.
I'll send you
just give me your love.
I'll blow you a kiss and send you a text.
Oh, I didn't know where that was going.
Blow you a kiss and send you a text.
Oh
my goodness.
You know, wipe my nose for that one. Ooh, got a little runny nose there.
Okay, anyways, let's say 50 then.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, let's say 50 for that. Do we get out cash for that too, I guess?
Yeah.
Okay, so $50.
They got heart-shaped pizzas at Aldi for $4.99.
Anyways,
it'll work out.
Our goal is to spend $50 on Valentine's Day, and that may seem like a lot to y'all, may seem like a little bit. It's what we're gonna do.
It's a lot cheaper than what it used to be.
Oh my gosh, usually we would spend, I'd give the teachers like...
You give me second row seats to WWE.
Oh, that's right. Like Christmas. I'm sure we're forgetting something. This is a learning process for us. I'm excited for y'all to come along with us and hopefully not judge us, and you're welcome to laugh at us, just be nice about it.
Good job making it to the end of this video if you did. I'm just proud of myself for making it to the end.
I'm proud of you too. I'm actually glad that we're filming it so that you didn't be so rude. You had to be nice. I'm gonna film all of them.
I dreaded this one. All right, thank y'all.
They'll hopefully get easier along the way.
Thank y'all for watching, and man. Woo!
We will see what OTFS.
Catch you on the flip side.
Bye.
Bye.